Hey everyone, welcome to weekday coronavirus-driven mind stuff. My name is George Ortega, and it is Sunday, May 24th at 6:04 p.m. And this is episode number 31. So let's see, what is there to talk about? Yeah, I haven't been out today. I was up late. I actually didn't get to sleep till like 7 o'clock in the morning last night. I was just up doing things. I was playing a lot of bass guitar, and before that, I had opened my Zoom room, but I only stayed on there like until about 12:30 in the morning, I guess. So I haven't been out, and like after I record this, I plan to take a walk through town, zigging and zagging to avoid people. I have a cousin in California who just had written, basically a message to me and the rest of the family just to say how she's doing and all. So I just sent her a reply. What else? Yeah, no, I had some kind of like difficult dreams last night. I mean, sometimes, I have difficult dreams. It's like, I think the classic understanding is that like, well, we're going through stuff, and like if we can't process it all during our waking hours, our unconscious mind does the rest of the processing. And it's like the idea is just to not buy into them too much. I mean, like sometimes they're very pleasant, great, and when they're kind of like more challenging, well, just hope that something good has been happening, as a result. Hasn't been much news. Well, places are beginning to open up, and so now we have to wait and see what the consequences will be. I mean, like I'm not all that hopeful in a certain sense, and I'll tell you why. For example, I watch news occasionally, not too much because, they don't really have too much to say, and they often kind of like make the situation more challenging. But one thing I found, for example, that you have these gatherings of people, politicians, doctors, people like, at 7 o'clock here in New York City, clanging things and congratulating the first responders. But if you ever notice the videos of these events, people are not social distancing. The politicians aren't, the medical staff isn't. I mean, it's so obvious. I don't get that. They think that like, and like, yes, I understand that as medical providers, especially, they can't social distance to provide service, and so, hopefully they're better protected and with what they wear and all, but like the politicians, again, seeing them in a meeting, and it's not just Trump, it's a bunch of them. They're wearing masks, but they're standing like 2 feet away from each other. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, so the prediction is that, basically as people go to the beaches and stores open up, that the numbers will go up again. That's what they're expecting. And it remains to be determined how much they'll go up during this spring and summer, into the fall. Then I guess at fall we kind of expect a second wave to occur. So we're gonna like, that's a yeah, it's getting challenging. Let's see what else. And that's like, I'm gonna remain optimistic. You know, I'm researching what happened after the Great Depression with the New Deal, and I understand that jobs is, you know, the issue. You know, you can pretty much forget everything else. It's about jobs. The only other thing we have to be concerned with is Trump, you know, not allowing the national elections. I doubt even his party would allow him to do that. You know, wouldn't be surprised if somebody within his party assassinated him if he tried that, because, like, I mean, that would be so against what this country stands for. But yeah, you know, just expecting that that he'll be out in November, you know, or in January, I guess, when his term ends. Then, you know, let's see what we can do to repair the harm that's been caused. And, you know, he really has caused a lot of this harm, because, like, had he acted responsibly, had he respected science and scientists and the evidence back in January when we first found out about this, our circumstances would be far less challenging and damaging. And it's not just what he failed to do back then, but he continues to fail. For example, I go to CVS across the street and I look for a thermometer. I still don't have, you know, I haven't had a thermometer in 30 years. I apparently have never, you know, I don't remember having a fever in 30, almost 40 years. But I'd like to get a thermometer. I got a meat thermometer on Amazon, but that doesn't really, that's not all that accurate. But I don't find them. And, like, it's not just thermometers, it's testing kits and masks and, you know, and ventilators. I mean, he could have invoked his War Powers Act to make companies create these things. And it's beyond me why he chose not to do that, why he continues to choose not to do that. You know, this man is not a good man. You know, that's the bottom line. And, you know, a lot of people are suffering, both parties, rich and poor, as a result of his personal ambition of getting reelected, just superseding what needs to be done, you know, to rein in this virus. So let's see if things change, you know, hopefully. So I got, you know, I thought that I was, like, falling in love, or I thought she was falling in love with me. I guess, like, I kind of, like, concluded, like, to be in love, you can't, like, be in love if the other person isn't in love. You know, that's, you may love that person or, like, yearn for that person, but I think to be in love, I think both people have to, you know, be experiencing that. And so that hasn't been happening. So, like, you know, what with this woman that I spoke with for 16 hours, and before that for 12 hours, and I'm saying, hey, this has to mean something, but apparently it didn't. But so, like, she lives in Manhattan in the Village, and I was hoping that because she's all stressed out that she could, like, spend some time here, get away from the city. So I went out and bought this 5-foot long, 6-drawer dresser that came yesterday, I think, and the day before yesterday. And they sent me the wrong color, but the box weighs over 100 pounds. You know, I got to put it together, and I want it kind of like a, you know, brownish tint, whatever. They gave me black, which is nice. I mean, my futon is black, so I guess it matches that. But so I'll start putting that together maybe tomorrow or whatever. And again, so the good side, you know, like, I have these, like, sweatshirts and pants and, you know, this shirt and stuff that I keep in the, you know, out, you know, like, at the foot of my bed. I have this, like, 2-foot extension to my platform. And so, like, so this stuff will go in the dresser. And, you know, if you know, if fate, you know, smiles on me, and like, this woman and I, you know, because we're not, like, you know, we started arguing. And she, you know, her strategy is, like, you know, when she begins to hear something coming from me that she doesn't like, she would interrupt. And after a bit of that, I said, no, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. So yeah, but But yeah, so anyway, like, so I'll put that together. It's supposed to take 2 hours, it's supposed to take two people, but again, on Amazon, I saw a comment said some woman said her husband put it together in 2 hours. It'll probably take me 3 or 4 because I'm not gonna like rush through it, which is fine. I mean, there's like smaller, like there's six drawers that have to be put together, and they have like the metal rails, so they slide in and out nicely. That's a good feature of it. Didn't pay much for it. I think I paid maybe about 130, 140, or maybe less. Not bad. And so what else? What else? What else? I'm glad I'm talking because yeah, talking. Let me tell you something. This show was supposed to be called Talking to Ourselves Through Coronavirus Distancing. And the reason I didn't follow through with that plan, which is that I found it just impossible to talk to myself while addressing the camera, knowing that it was going to be like broadcast the next day or cable cast. But for example, after this, I think while this is processing, it takes a little while to process. After I close the room, Zoom just creates the video of this, this recording. And while it's doing that, I guess I'm going to make myself a salad with some chickpeas. Instead of Italian dressing, maybe I'll have some mayonnaise and tomatoes and cucumbers and throw in some sunflower seeds. Yeah. And then I want to go out, it doesn't get dark till 8:30 or so. I just have to make sure I dress warmly enough because I'm not sure what the weather is. Supposed to be like 67 and stuff, but it's probably going to drop, to close to 60. But maybe I'll wear this. I don't know. Who knows? But what else? So I'm getting good at bass guitar. Yes, I'm playing a lot. Last night in the middle of the night, I was playing for like a couple of hours through my headphones. And I'm playing like to albums now, like Deja Vu, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and I like Don McLean, American Pie. That was #1 album, like in 1971, I believe. So that's where I'm going. I'm going through like Billboard's top 200 albums of each year, whatever. I don't like, and I don't know why I say 200 because like when I'm looking through like 1970. There's only like a couple dozen albums there that made it to #1 for all those weeks. Some like A Bridge Over Troubled Water was a very popular one. Simon and Garfunkel, I was jamming to that before, and I was jamming to their Sounds of Silence. Yeah, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it, and I'm getting better. So as I was telling my cousin, in this email that I sent her, my plan is to hopefully within a year or two, I'm not going to rush it, but I believe I have a distinctive style, of playing bass guitar, because I play melodically, not just repeating riffs over and over. And so the goal is to kind of like become a studio musician. Now I improvise, I don't read music. And so like, because I used to like play guitar where it was just chords or lead, and that doesn't involve, the chords, you have to know the names of the chords and stuff. But it's different than just reading notes on a musical score. But I think what I'm going to eventually have to do is like, just along the fretboard, know what's an A note and what's a C note and what's a D sharp, a B flat, and all that stuff. Just I have to because yeah, I don't see that's I think a necessary kind of, maybe not, maybe it won't be, I don't know. But anyway, that's a good kind of goal to pursue. My hair, kind of like I'm feeling a bit ambivalent about my hair because like, and ambivalent isn't the right word, because I looked up the word ambivalent once, and it means kind of like strongly conflicted, in opposing directions, whatever. Well, I'm not strongly, I'm just a bit, I like the long hair, but it gets to be a pain, and it's the summer now, like, it may be too late for me. I should probably, on Amazon Prime, probably do it soon, get myself a one of these hair cutting kits, that I'll cut my own hair if I have to. Um, because like if I wait too long, they may all run out. They might have already all run out because like there are certain things you can't get, like thermometers and other things. Bikes you can't get anymore. I'm glad I bought my bike, about 8 months ago or so now, when I started attending religious services and I needed to get to the synagogues. So what else? About 12 and a half minutes left. And I don't even know if this episode is gonna like show tomorrow night, because like tomorrow is Memorial Day. I'm gonna like upload it and send Keith, who works at the studio, the link. But whether it gets played or not, I don't know if they play shows on Memorial Day. We'll have to see. If not, so be it. It's done. I'll still upload it to YouTube and Internet Archive. Just get it up there for whatever reason. This is art. This is like, who knows who, if anyone, watches this. I don't watch this. I make it. I don't have to watch it. I'm hearing to myself now. What else? I got to get the lighting better on this. That's all right. And I don't know if let's see if my virtual screens, work. All right, I'm going to zoom up to the moon for a while. Hold on. I'm going to zoom up to the moon. See, now it's not working. I don't know what's happening to my eyes and stuff, but it's this lighting stuff. So that's not, that just seems very weird, right? Scary, huh? Let me try a different one. Let's see. How about clouds? No, I don't know what the deal is with don't I look like kind of like a god? Not the god, because the god has a beard, I've heard. But I am very, incidentally. So I started this Zoom event on Friday, and it was called COVID-19, Religion and Spirituality. But there were too many people who were either atheist or agnostic, and they kept on gumming up the stuff, I don't believe there is a God. So we have to get into that debate. And so now, I'm not going to have an event tomorrow night. I may just have a party. I think that's probably what I'll do. I got to later today. As I'm eating my salad, hopefully I'll just, schedule that party for tomorrow night, because I'm not going to schedule anything for tonight. And the new event is going to be COVID-19 and God, parentheses, believers only. I'm not going to debate whether to me, it's obvious. I'm because people say, well, there is no God. There's no evidence of God. And then when I ask them, oh yeah, well, in order to state that, you have to kind of basically define God. And that's what trips people up, duh. And so what is, and a definition of God is a no-brainer. It's like God is everything, God is eternal, God is omnipotent, or governs the universe, God created the universe. I mean, it's and so anyway, if you define God in these ways, to say that God doesn't exist is to say that everything or the universe doesn't exist, because the universe and God really are synonymous. To say that God doesn't exist is to say that this universe hasn't been created, or reality isn't eternal, or to say that God isn't all-powerful or omnipotent is to say that we don't have any laws of nature, because in science, the laws of nature are what govern everything. So in other words, the laws of nature and God are also synonymous. Anyway, and people don't get this, it's like they want to believe what they need to believe emotionally for whatever reasons, and we're all like that, but that's actually the challenge of science, the challenge of thinking. I mean, our world is in such a mess in so many ways, because people believe what they believe, not because it makes sense, because it's rational, but because they need to on some emotional level. And that explains this pandemic thing. Our scientists have been telling us for decades that factory farming, farming animals, the conditions in slaughterhouses are pandemic laboratories. They're just like that's how pandemics start. And we've known this, but like because people quite mistakenly don't trust science. Because, I mean, right now you're seeing this because of science. I mean, science is amazing. Science has created an amazing world where people are living longer, living healthier, living happier. But as long as people choose to believe what they believe because it feels better, maybe, not being objective in exploring the evidence, then we should expect some mistaken conclusions as a result, and some, as in this case, can become quite serious. But anyway, so I'm gonna next Friday, I guess I will have that meeting. Again, God, COVID-19 and God. Maybe it should be God first, right? God and COVID-19. Oh, thank God. All right, about 6 minutes and 46 seconds left. And what else? Yeah, I've got a different, if you notice, there's a different wall behind me. I basically turned this computer around, and I forgot the reasons for doing this, but I like it. I like it better. And I made, I'll for the parties, I want to right now the futon's in couch position, but I want to bring it back to the flat position when I do the parties, because that way I can, sometimes I sit up, sometimes I'm on my on my elbow or something, or just propped up against the wall, because if I'm I'm on there for 4, 5, 6 hours at a time, and seated like this, I'm not sure it's the best thing. Maybe it is, who knows. Maybe I'll keep it this way. Probably not. I don't know. What else? I don't know what else. I'm out of stuff. What can I tell you? See, I wish, all right, I've got to start, I don't know why I haven't been doing this, but I can plug in my bass guitar to this mix. Oh, yes, because I'm waiting. This laptop that I have, it's got one of these strange, in and out, input, output things where it's the same plug for the microphone and headphones. Whereas so basically I'm waiting. I actually I bought a laptop or a desktop computer, to be able to do this. And I got a great price. I think I only paid 100, and this is all the stimulus money. I paid about $140 for it, and it included a monitor. So anyway, so hopefully in a week or so, whenever it gets here, I will, I'll play some bass guitar for you. Now, I won't be able to play songs like Crosby, Stills and Nash and the Beatles and stuff, because there's probably copyright, barriers to doing that. But I, many years ago, back in the 90s, I wrote about 60 songs, and I, a few years later recorded them, playing guitar, and, have a little drum track that I, somehow got, I forget, that was part of, I think, a keyboard that I used to have. And so anyway, so I'll jam to that stuff. I mean, it would be good enough, I guess. And that'll be fun, hopefully. Yeah, I like, talking. I'm telling you, talking is so underrated, talking to oneself, because that's essentially what I'm doing. Even though I'm not, even though I'm really talking to you, but I'm just verbalizing my thoughts. And it's such a great way to feel so much better, to kind of to really think about what's going on in one's life, to take a survey of it. And I'm this is when I take my walk after I make my salad and create this event. I'm taking my phone. I've told you this before. I'll tell you over and over. It's like I take my phone and I record my thoughts as I'm taking my walk. And people think, that I'm like talking to someone, but I'm not. I'm just like, and it is so much fun. It's like, what else? What else? What else? I talk to God sometimes that way, but God very, very rarely answers. I mean, like when he does answer, I say, huh? As a matter of fact, I'm not sure he ever has answered, like, except like he answers in thoughts. No, look, that's a complete I shouldn't have said that, because like every time I say something like, God, I mean, what's going on here? Why are you doing this? Or what, and there's always an answer. It may not be the answer that I like, and it's always an answer that comes in terms of a thought and a feeling, or both, or different circumstances, or whatever. But it's not like God, in an inaudible voice says, well, I'll tell you what you got to do, Because like, if that happened, I mean, like back years ago, that people would consider you a prophet. These days, people would like send you to Bellevue or something. But all right, we're under 2 minutes now. We're like wrapping this up. And White Plains Community Media is where this is cable cast every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. through Optimum channel 76 and Verizon channel 45. And if you live in some of the surrounding communities like Scarsdale and Ardsley and Tarrytown, and you get Verizon, you can see the show there too. And if you missed that, then all the shows are on the White Plains Community Media website, and I upload them eventually to YouTube and Internet Archive. So that's another, but you might. All right, I don't know what happened. Like, I'm recording and I've got 1 minute left to go, but like everything's just like timed out. And actually, I'm looking at the clock. I've got 1 minute left. I hope this works, because it just like it stopped, and I thought, oh my God, I've lost the recording. But it just popped back on, and apparently it's still recording. So I've got 37 seconds left. And I hope it doesn't do that too often. That's God probably saying, hey, when you talk about me, just a little more respect, probably. I mean, I'm close to God, but maybe I take too many liberties. I think he and I he, whatever, are tight or close, but maybe not so much. Maybe, So anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow on weekly coronavirus-driven mind stuff. Take care.